I'm Nika Laizal Kunisalay, who members Mr. Lunagan, Mr. Milo, Mr. Dakpano, Miss Bakidan, and Miss Alcunis, and we are D Group 1. Welcome to our dissection of a pig heart. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating anatomy of this vital organ and understand how it works. Pigs have hearts very similar to human, making them excellent model for learning about our own circulatory system.
Let's gather our materials. First is our chopping board, then our dissecting kit, which is this. This is the scalpel, and this is the blade. Next is our gloves, and our laboratory apron or laboratory gown. Next is the most essential one, is the heart of the pig.
This is the thin membrane or pericardium that still covers the heart. The pericardium or pericardial sac is a double-layered closed sac that surrounds the heart and anchors it. Pericardium is the thin covering of the heart that separates it from the rest of the mediastinum. It consists of two layers, the outer fibrous pericardium and the inner double-layer serous pericardium.
So after the examination of the pericardium, let's move on to the myocardium. But before that, let's cut the heart through frontal lane. The myocardium is the muscle of the heart and is responsible for the contractile function of the cardiac pump, and the most of the myocardium is located in the lower chamber of the heart called ventricles.
Step 3. Locate the tip of the heart or the apex. Only the left ventricle extends all the way to the apex, which is this. This is the tip of the heart or the apex. This is the part. Or I got it up. This is the part of the apex.
Place the heart in the dissecting pan so that the front of ventral side is toward you. The major blood vessels are on the top and the apex is down. The front of the heart is recognized by a groove that extends from the right side of the broad end of the heart diagonally to a point above and to your left of the apex.
So hello guys, I am the one who will discuss the heart's chambers. So I have two pig's heart here for my demonstration. So in pig's heart, it has four chambers. Those are the left atrium, right atrium, left ventricle, and the right ventricle. So, this part is the left, then this is the left atrium. This chamber is located in the upper left portion of your heart, which would be the upper right from the viewer's perspective. And this is the left ventricle. This chamber is located in the lower left portion of your heart, which would be the lower right from the viewer's perspective. So, in right part of the heart, in this part, we have the right atrium. This chamber is located in the upper right portion of your heart, which would be the upper left from the viewer's perspective. Then, next one, we have the right ventricle, which this chamber is located in the lower right portion of your heart, which would be the lower left from the viewer's perspective. So, the four chambers is responsible for pumping blood throughout the body, which the right atrium, it receives the deoxygenated blood from the body, while the left atrium, it receives the oxygenated blood from the lungs. And the right ventricle, it pumps the oxygenated blood to the lungs, while the left ventricle, it pumps the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. So, those are the 4 chambers of our hearts.
While the heart is still in this position in the dissecting pan, we will now locate the different blood vessels at the broad end of the heart. First is the coronary artery. This one is the coronary artery. This blood vessel lies in the groove on the front of the heart, and it branches over the front and the back side of the heart to supply fresh blood with oxygen and nutrients to the heart muscle itself. Second is the pulmonary artery. This hole is the pulmonary artery. This one. So this blood vessel branches and carries blood to the lungs to receive oxygen and can be found curving out of the right ventricle, which is the upper chamber to your left. Third is the aorta. This big hole is the aorta. This major vessel located near the right atria and just behind the pulmonary arteries to the lungs. Locate the curved part of this vessel known as the aortic arch. Branching from the aortic arch is a large artery that supplies blood to the upper body. Fourth is the pulmonary veins. This is the pulmonary veins. These vessels return oxygenated blood from the right and left lungs to the left atrium, which is the upper chamber on your right. And lastly, the fifth one is the 2 vena cavas, the inferior and superior vena cava. This is the inferior and superior vena cava. These 2 blood vessels are located on your left of the heart and connect to the right atrium, which is the upper chamber on your left. The oxygenated blood enters the body through these vessels into the right receiving chamber. I'm now going to use my hand to feel down into the right atrium. This vessel do not contain valves to control blood flow. After locating the blood vessels, we will now proceed to the procedure of internal anatomy.
The first procedure is to locate the pulmonary artery. Using the scalpel and the surgical blade, we should now cut through the side of the pulmonary artery and continue cutting down into the wall of the right ventricle. Be careful to just cut deep enough to go through the wall of the heart chamber. The second procedure is to push open the heart with your fingers at the cut to examine the internal structure. If there is dried blood inside the chambers, rinse out the heart. The third procedure is to locate the right atrium. We should notice the thinner muscular wall of this receiving chamber.
Next is step 4. Find where the inferior and superior vena cava enter this chamber and notice the lack of valves. So I have found the superior vena cava. Is this? And yes, it lacks the valves. Then next is, and this is the inferior vena cava, which is here. Locate the valve between the right atrium and right ventricle. This is called the tricuspid valve. This valve allows flow from the right atrium into the right ventricle during diastole. When the heart begins to contract, ventricular pressure increases until it is greater than the pressure in the atrium, causing the tricuspid to snap closed, which is supposed to be this part, which is I accidentally cut it. So, doesn't look like a valve, but this is the valve. See? This is supposed to be the valve. Since I accidentally cut it. Here. Next step is step number 6. Use your fingers to feel the thickness of the right ventricle and its smooth lining. Also, note the network of irregular muscle cords on these inner walls of this chamber, which is supposed to be this. This is the right ventricle.
As you can see here in the video, this thick muscular wall separates the right and left pumping ventricles from each other. Inside this right ventricle, the pulmonary artery that carries blood away from this chamber is this. This is what it looks like. The valve called the pulmonary valve that controls blood flow away from the right ventricle at the entrance to this blood vessel. As you can see here in the video, after I washed and dried it, this is what it looks like.
The 10th procedure is examine the left atrium. Find the openings of the pulmonary veins from the lungs. Observe the one-way semilunar valves at the entrance to these veins. 11th procedure. In this chamber, look for the valve that controls the blood flow between the upper left atrium and the lower left ventricle. This valve is called the bicuspid or the mitral valve. That valve consists two leaflets and blood flows from the left atrium to the left ventricle during diastole. 12th procedure. Examine the left ventricle. Notice the thickness of the ventricular wall. This heart chamber is responsible for the pumping blood throughout the body.
Using the scissor, cut across the left ventricle toward the aorta and continue cutting to expose the valve. Count the 3 flaps or leaflets on the valve leading from the left ventricle into the aorta and note their half-moon shape. This is called the aortic valve. And this is the 3 flaps or leaflets. And this is the half-moon shape. And for the last procedure, which is the 15th procedure, using scissor, cut through the aorta and examine the inside. Find the hole or coronary sinus in the wall of this major artery. This leads into the coronary artery, which carries blood to and nourishes the heart muscle itself. So this is the coronary sinus.
In conclusion, we have explored the external and internal anatomy of the pig's heart, highlighting its chambers, valves, and blood vessels and how it works together to ensure efficient blood circulation. Why is it important to understand the heart's anatomy? It is important to understand the heart's anatomy because it is crucial for healthcare professionals as it helps them diagnose and treat heart's condition. It also important for everyone to have basic understanding on how this vital organ works. We have already explored the external and internal anatomy of the pig's heart, highlighting its chambers, valves, and blood vessels and how it works together to ensure efficient blood circulation. Thank you for joining us on this dissection journey. We encourage you to continue exploring the interesting world of the circulatory system. Bye!